Hello everyone, welcome again. This is a part 2 of chapter Electoral Politics from class 9 civics book. In this module, I will explain you about the different steps to go through for the election procedure. In part 1, in the earlier video, you already get an understand and clear idea about the election, its needs, political competition and different types of the election. In this module, you will get to know about few steps by which you get an understand about the election procedures of our country and how election is conducted, what are the basic needs or what are the basic things which is very much important for conducting the election, that you will know through some steps. So let's start with our module. First one is that election procedures through few steps. See, you have to go through this module with 4 important steps. This module belongs to 4 important steps, and within these 4 important steps, all the procedures of election that was conducted in our country. The first one is that electoral constituencies and reserve constituencies. Constituencies, let me tell you the definition of the term constituency. It means where the for the purpose of the election, when the areas are divided into small part, that is known as constituency, and when it's for the purpose of the election, then it's known as electoral constituency. And when any particular place is reserved for the election, that is known as reserved constituencies. Voter list, the list where you get all the eligible voters' name before the election, they was prepared by the election commission. Election campaign means the promotion, the rallies, marches or the meetings which is done by the political leaders for connecting to the people before the election. And polling and counting vote means when we have to go to giving our vote, that is a poll day. And after completing all the election procedures, when the elections, whatever the cast, the peoples are cast their vote, that will be counted and declare the result, and that is known as counting vote. So these are the 4 important steps by which you will understand the election procedure of our country in a very smooth manner. So let's start with our first one, that is that electoral constituencies and reserve constituencies. So let's start with that. So first we have to know that for the elections, areas are divided into so many parts. It's not possible for a particular area that all the peoples of our country, they go and travel to that particular area and then give their election. It's not possible. So for that reason, it's very much that it's very easy that if we are divided some sections, and in each and every section if we choose some of the leaders, okay, and then we will continue it our election system, then it will be easy. If I'm giving you an example, for example, if you said that there is one school and we need some that one representatives of the school, okay, but as you know that in our school there's a lots of students are there. Suppose in a particular school there may be more than 4,000 students are there, so it's not possible for a principal to gather all the the student and take the interviews and then conducting some kind of questionnaires and ask each and every 4,000 students and then choose one representatives. It's not possible. So basically, due to that reason, what happened, the school are divided into so many parts, like each classes, okay. So the school are divided into classes and the classes are divided into section. So it's very much that it is very much easy that to choose one representatives from each section, and after that each classes, okay. And each classes, that means we all know that in a school there's a 12 to 14 classes are there from the pre-nursery. So if we chooses 13 representatives, and from that 13 representatives that that the leaders can be choose, so it's very easy. So for that reason that it's also very easy to gathering of the students of every class in their particular class and choose their representative, rather than to go and gather by 4,000 students. So for that reason, similarly, as the schools are divided into classes and sections to that to conducting the election in a smooth way, in a similar manner, that our country is also divided into that part of divided for the election, so that the people in a smooth way, we almost get a equal number of representatives from each and every that the place. So if you see the Indian map, you can observe that Indian map, from that you can observe that so many parts are divided for the election. So India is divided into different areas for the purpose of the election, and these areas is called electoral constituencies. So each and every part which is divided, or each and every state which is divided into so many parts for the purpose of the election, that means is an electoral constituencies. And from each and every constituencies, there is one representatives who represent their own particular area. Okay, just like a monitor, class monitor. So this is called electoral constituencies. Now we have to know that the levels of the election, you already get an understand about the that the types of the election. Now we have to know, in our country the election will be conducted in two levels. The first one is the that the Lok Sabha election, which is held in throughout our country, and second one is the state election or legislative assembly election, that is the Vidhan Sabha's election. Suppose if I am taking an example of the West Bengal, one particular state, and suppose there is a two constituencies are there. You all know that our state is also divided into so many parts, so that we will we will get our representative in a smooth manner. Now suppose this is a area, this particular area is belongs to one constituency, and suppose this constituency's population is belong to 10 lakh. Okay, it's belong to 10 lakh, and if you see this particular area, it belongs to 10,000. Okay, now the thing is that if both the constituencies are divided, if the that the state are divided into equal manner, in a equal part, and in one part those who that the representatives who represent that particular part, this particular part, they get the support of 10 lakh peoples, and the representative who belongs to this part, they belongs to the 10,000. So it's not like that. Our country are decided to divided the area in a constituency almost in a same manner. Okay, हर जगह को जब भाग किया जाता है, हर जगह को जब डिवाइड किया जाता है, वो इक्वल मैनर में, ऑलमोस्ट इक्वल मैनर में डिवाइड किया जाता है, ताकि that was on the basis of the population, not the area. So basically our country is divided into the constituencies into small parts on the basis of the population, rather than on the basis of the on the basis of the area, because maybe the area is small and big, but that doesn't matter, but the population is matter, because Indian constitution, or you can say in Indian election system, it's very much important to divided its part, to divided its constituency according to the according to the population. If I giving you one more example, so if you say that in West Bengal we have 42 constituencies. So according to the population, our West is divided into 42 parts. And if you say the Tripura, if you take the Tripura or the Goa, as it's a very very few populated areas, a few populated states, so it is divided into two parts, or it is divided into two constituencies. So the areas are divided, the states are divided according to the population. Its constituencies, it's created its constituency. So by this way you will understand that there is a two level of election. One level of election, which is the Lok Sabha election, means all our country are divided into small part and election is going on. And another one is that state election, that is the state Vidhan Sabhas or Vidhan Parishad elections, that is the assembly election, where the particular state is divided into so many districts and so many constituencies. Okay. Now let's see that that the Lok Sabha election is basically, you all get and understand, you all have a little bit idea about the total members of the Lok Sabha, because you already get to through it in class 8. So basically the in Lok Sabha 552's 552 maximum numbers of members can be over there, but right now we have 545 members are there, on which 530 are the representatives, state representatives, 13 are the union territories from, and 2 are the Anglo Indians, which is choose of, the president can choose them. So this is the structure of the Lok Sabha, the Lok Sabha constituencies, and right now the Lok Sabha constituencies in our country is 543. Okay, so our country is divided into so many parts. You all already understand about this one. So for Lok Sabha election, India is divided into 543 constituencies, and the representatives who are elected from each constituencies is called member of the parliament. That you already know about that. The member of the Lok Sabha is known as MP, that is member of parliament. Now, not only our country is divided, but each state is divided into some specific number of assembly constituencies. Like what I'm saying, that West Bengal is divided for 42 parts, that is 42 constituencies we have in West Bengal. Tripura have 2, Goa have 2, like that. So in each state also divided, because that in state also some elections is conducted, that is panchayat election, municipal election, then Vidhan Sabha election. So due to that reason, we also needed to divided the constituencies of our state also. And as well as, not only that, the member of our state is known as MLA, that is member of Legislative Assembly. Okay. And each village or town is divided into several parts, like in panchayat, in municipal, and these constituencies part of village and town is known as ward. Okay, so we have seen so many times in our home address that ward number. Okay, so each village and towns are divided into like that. You can see from the picture that so from so many parts, that as we know, there's lots of districts are there, and districts also divided into so many parts, so that each and every people can easy to go to their nearest pool and give the that casting their vote, and from each constituency one representatives will they will choose from there. So these all the above previous the slides are called electoral constituencies. So basically you get a clear idea about the electoral constituencies, that the part which is divided into so many small part, okay, for the election is known as electoral constituencies. Now let we know that a reserve constituency, sometimes it happens that in we all know that our country after the independence also, our country try to facing so many challenges, and one of the important challenges is to giving facilities, or to that forwarding those communities who are in the backward side. So for that reason, some constituencies, some areas are there which is reserved for them. Okay, so let's see that reserve constituencies means there's constituency where the seats are reserved for particular community, that is SC, STs, on the basis of their population, or in many states, in many village government or urban government, that the seats are reserved for the women, as well as the seats are reserved for the backward classes, that is OBC. So from the map, I hope you get an the clear idea about the constituencies, reserved constituencies. So the constituencies or the areas, small areas for the purpose of the election is reserved by the community of SC, ST, OBC or women, that is known as reserved constituency. In that particular constituencies, that particular constituencies or the which is reserved for SC, ST, OBCs or women, that is conducted, or there the representatives are choose from that particular community only. So in particular, in if you see the that Lok Sabha constituencies, or if you see the state constituencies, you can observe that some of the seats are reserved for them, which is known as reserved constituencies. Now come to the question, that there's maybe question which is came in your mind, that we already completed the part that electoral constituencies and reserve constituencies, where you get an idea that some areas are, that the big areas are divided into so many parts for the conducting the election, and some areas are reserved for the some communities, okay, which is reserved community constituencies. Now the question is that who can give or casting vote, or who cannot that cast vote, and who are eligible for vote, who are not eligible for vote. So this is, we have to know these questions through some the second step, that is voter list. Now who are or aren't eligible for vote, that's we have to know. So we, all the citizens whose age of 18 years and above can give vote, can cast their votes. That basically, that in our country, those people who are above the 18 years of age, they are all eligible for giving their vote. And the criminals, or the person with some unsound mind, means who have some mental issues, or who have some, that their mental balance is not properly running. So some criminals or some persons, those who are unsound mind, they can be denied to vote, because they sometimes they are not permitted to give vote, as because due to their background or due to their mental condition. So all the voters, those who are 18 years of age, they can give vote, but the criminals or the persons with unsound mind, they sometimes they are made denied to give the vote. So you get an idea that who are eligible and who aren't eligible for vote. Now how we will know that who are eligible for the vote? Okay, so that's we will understand, that's we will know from the voter list. You can observe that that you can ask to your parents that as you are when you go to give your vote after 18 years of age, you also get get this kind of pictures where the list is there, where every information is given into this list, that your address, your date of birth, then your name or father's name, in which constituencies you are included, that you will go and give the give the vote. So all the your constituencies, your polling booth number, everything will be given in your in that particular list. So this is called voter list. So basically we can say that voter list means the official list which is prepared where who are eligible to vote is included, that is known as electoral roll or voter list. So the list where all the eligible candidates are noting down or jotting down, that list is known as electoral roll or the voter list. Okay, now the question is that it have to update in every 5 years by adding or removing names. Means whenever the voter list which is which is prepared for so many before the election, means it is that the voter list are prepared by the election commissioner by doing the surveys, but it is prepared before so many times of election. So it have to update in every 5 years, as because in every 5 years the election is conducted, the general election is conducted. So for that reason we have the election commission have to update it 5 years by adding the name or by removing the name. So why they are updating and what are they doing by updating this voter list? The thing is that that when they are updating the voter list in every 5 years, they are included or they are adding the names of those who attain the 18 years, because the that's why that the teenagers who become adult, that is 18 years of age, they get that their voter ID card, or they get their voter ID. Okay, and as they get their voter ID, because they cross their age of 18 years, which is a minimum eligibility area or condition to become to casting their vote. So for that reason, the first one is that during the updatation, they are updated, they are entering their names, those who are 18, just cross the 18 years of age. They also deleting those names who are that who are dead during that 5 years, so that no one can be misusing with their name. If their name is included over there, then anyone can give the vote on behalf of that person. So for that reason, for do not misusing of that name of that dead person, so they are removing their name from the list and update the list. And also those name are deleted from the list who are move out of the place. Okay, like they are living in India, but that for so many term years, or for so many we can say the 5 years, they are not living over there, they leave the place and they settle down in other places. So from that place constituencies list, their name is deducted, and this is the updatation process that the people before the election they updated in every 5 years, where they included the name of the new voters and deleted the name of the old voters, those who leave the place and settle down anywhere else, and those who are not live in the society. So this is the process of updatation. Now we have to know that what that during the time of the voting, during the time when the people are go and give their vote, every voter must, it is a very important thing that every voter must carry an identity card to the election venue to cast the vote. That is called EPIC. See, when you go to the school, you need to must to carry your diary, or must to carry your identity card of your school, because that is your identity to enter into your school. Similarly, for giving the vote, EPIC, it is an identity card for giving the vote. Okay, so let me tell you that the person, those who are that they are holding in their hand, or they are keeping in their hand, that is called the election photo identity card, that is EPIC. So the EPIC full form is election photo identity card. Okay, so they have to must, it's a very must one, that during the time when every voter they going for casting their vote, for giving their vote, they have to be must carry an identity card in the election venue for casting the vote. Without that, the people are not allowing them to give the vote. Now we have to know that what is the criteria for nominating as a candidate, right? See, we all understand about the that the places are divided into so parts, so that the election will be going on in a smooth manner. We also get a clear idea about the voter caste, that is the people who are eligible for vote, for giving the vote. Now we have to know that who are eligible for that for nominating as a candidate, because whom we are giving वोट, दैट मीन्स उम्मीदवार जिन्हें हम वोट देते हैं. So that representatives need some criteria, okay, to become a candidate. So let's see that what are the criteria to become a candidate in our country. The first one is that the candidate should be 25 years of age, right? So to give the vote, you have to become a 18 years of age or above, and to get the vote, you needs to become a 25 years of age or the above age. Then need of party ticket, you have to get the support of the party in the name of the party ticket. That means your name should be included in any particular party, and you have your symbol, you have the supporters of the political party. So the political parties, those who choose their candidate for any particular area, they are supporting that particular person with their support and symbols, and give the ticket, that is known as ticket. So need of the political parties. Then we are talking about that the nomination field, they have to apply their name and fill all the details into the form and submit it to the election commission, that is they have to fill the nomination form. Then they have to give some money as a security deposit. So these all are the criteria for the nomination as a candidate. And after this that the people, those who wanted to become a nominated or representatives, they after that they can able to stand in the vote and people can choose them. So this is the basic criteria or basic condition to become a candidate or to become a nominated as a candidate in the election, that must have 25 years of age. That must have 25 years of age, need the party ticket, that is permission, along with symbols and some that the supporters, then have to fill nomination form, that is application form, and give some money as a security deposit. So these are all the criteria which they have to fulfill. And along with, not only that, along with that, some legal declaration also that done by the candidate. Those candidate who wanted to choose as a candidate, they have to legally declare some things in publicly, that is whether any criminal cases are pending or not, their assets, liabilities, properties of candidate and his families or her families, and the education qualification of the candidate. But it's a matter that that our politicians, you can say that our politicians are not so much qualified, or that during the time of the election, the particular not us qualification criteria is there, as because you all know that most of the peoples of our country is below the that they are not educated. And as our country is a democratic country, so all the decisions are in the hand of the people. So if the people think that we should need a educated leader, then we choose that our educated representative. If not, if only the experience or only the passion for doing work is important, so people are choosing that one. So basically all the decisions are given to the people, that how they will wanted to look their representative, educated or the work hard, that a people. That's why. So basically the along with the age, along with the previous one, that 25 of age, legal that filling the nomination form, getting the tickets from the political parties, and then depositing some security money, they have to also declare their, whether they are any criminal cases is going on not, or their assets and liabilities, that means what properties they have, what are the different that assets or the things they have, and the how many qualified they are, the education qualification. So these all they have to declare in front of the public. Okay, now the next one is that election campaign. So during this time, you all know that election campaign is very much important, because the people, before the election, that 2 weeks ago, the period of election, when the announcement between the final announcement of the candidate list and the polling date, the politicians are ready for doing the campaigning, and they contact to their voters, to their that constituencies areas, so that the peoples with their some campaigning like rallies, marches, their meetings they are providing, and due to this they get attract and they give the vote to the their representatives. That's why this election campaigning is that occurred a 2 week before period of that when the election commission, they declared that how many people are there from each constituency, those who are nominated as a candidate, and also declared the date of election. Okay, before the 2 weeks of that, the election campaigning is going on, where the people are that doing the rallies, doing the marches, doing the meetings, then they are doing the campaigns by that by contacting to their peoples, by going and meet to the voters and giving some promises and doing some promises. So this is called election campaign, which I can say that the promotion for their political party is going on through the matter of, through the manner of, or through the method of campaign. Now leaders are using some slogans for attract the people. Okay, so for attracting the peoples, because that peoples have lots of choices to choose so many representatives. So for it is political parties, they are political members, they are very they wanted the vote of the voters. So due to that reason, they are using some kind of slogan, so that the people are attract and they give vote to them. So here are some famous slogans which is used by the political parties. It's a safe democracy, land to the tiller, protect the self-respect of the Telugus, Garibi Hatao, that is remove poverty. So some of the areas, or you can say some of the slogans are there, which is used by so many political parties leaders, so that the peoples are attacked. That this is a actual fact, that the political parties leaders or the candidate, they that they take the big issues, they take that issues, or they take that emotions which is that very much connected with the peoples, and they using this as a slogan, so that the peoples are connected with their situation, connected with their slogans, and they give the vote and attract to the political candidates. So that's why some slogans are they are using, so that the peoples are very that they are relate to that slogans, they relate to that topics, and they concern about it, and they give the vote to the particular leaders. Okay. But it's not very easy, that it's not very easy to attack the people. There is or it's not very easy to convince the people, because each and every political parties or the candidates, they have to follow some rules during the time of the elections or campaign, which is set down by the set up by the election commission. So some within that limitation, within that rules, particular within that regulation, they have to work the they have to do the work. Okay, they have to advertise their or promote their campaign. So let's see that what are the rules and regulation. So according to the Indian's election law, no party or no candidate can bribe or threaten the voters. Means they cannot that give they are not doing any kind of corruption, so that that our democracy, we have our democracy, the features free and fair manner. So for that reason, not a particular candidate or the political party, they cannot bribe, they cannot give that extra facilities which by which they are purchasing their vote. They cannot also threaten, they cannot also that give any kind of threat to the voters for giving the vote. Even they cannot, in not a particular political party, they cannot appeal into their campaigning in the name of the caste and religion. I mean, during the time of the campaigns or during the time of their slogans or like that, they cannot use any kind of that sentence or any kind of that promises which is in the name of the caste and the religion. So basically the people's, as we are secular country, so the people or the candidate cannot uses the name of the caste and the religion to attract their people or to influence their voters. They also not using they are not allowed to use their government resources for the election campaign. Means either the vehicles, the that the telephones or etc, the different things which is the government property, they cannot use the government property for their own political campaigning. And also they cannot spend more than 25 lakh in one particular constituency for the Lok Sabha election, or 10 lakh in a constituency in an assembly election. So they cannot that they cannot, a particular candidate cannot spending the money in a unlimited manner. So the some limitations are given by the election law, so that they will be within that elected, within the limited, they spend their money, and due to that reason they are not doing any kind of unfair manner. So these are the rules during the time of the election which have to follow by the party or the candidate. Now some more model of code of conduct for the election campaign that was that arranged by the election commission. So election commission also that they also created some rules and regulations for the elections, okay, which is known as model of code of conduct, that no use of any place of worship during the time of the election campaign. The peoples are not using, or they cannot set up their campaigns in place of the worship, like in temple, in mosque, or that in gurudwara. So they cannot doing this kind of, any worship place will not be used for the place as a place of the election campaign or election meeting. They due to for the election campaign, for their rallies, for their marches, they cannot use the government vehicles, they cannot use the government aircraft, they cannot use any kind of officials for the elections. So as the campaigning is for their own purpose, they want to that win the battle for, due to that reason they are promoting, so they cannot use the government resources. Okay, and once the election are announced, when the election date are announced by the election commissioner, then all the ministers, they shall not, that they shall not do any kind of project, they shall not do any kind of, taking any big decisions or any promises for providing the public facilities to the people. So that means before the declaration, before the announcement of the election date, the peoples can, that they are giving so much facilities, public facility to the people for using it as a, that for convincing the people. They can also, that fulfilling, or they can also, that doing any kind of project, okay, like any foundation stones or any where they wanted to establish any buildings like that, or they can also take the big decision on any particular matter. But after the announcement, when the announcement was done by the election commission, these all works cannot be done by a particular candidate. So these are some that model of code of conduct, some rules and regulation during the time of the election campaign by the election commission. Now the last part or last step, that is polling and counting, that is a vote day, the day when the voters, they cast or they poll their vote, is called the election day. And where they go, that particular area where they go and give their vote, that area, that venue, that election venue is known as polling booth. Okay, so the day when they give the vote, okay, that is known as poll day, that is known as poll day. Okay, and the place where they give the vote, okay, that is known as polling booth. Okay, so the day is known as poll booth, the venue is known as polling booth. Process of voting, how the people, that we have to know that what are the process to vote someone, or what is the total process that during that polling day that was conducted. So let's see. The first one is that each person whose name is on the voter list, they can go to the nearby polling booth. That if you randomly go to any polling booth, you randomly go to any place where the election is conducted and you wanted to give the vote, then the officials, the presiding officer, those who are sitting over there, they cannot permit you. If your name is in the list of that particular constituencies, that particular election venue, then only you are able to give the vote. So basically after that after including the name in the voter list, they will go to their particular constituencies venue where they are already informed beforehand by the election commissions. So they have to go over there only. Okay. So the name where in the voter list, they will go to their nearest polling booth where in which their name was registered. Then once the voter goes inside the booth, they give a line, and one by one they entered into the room where the election officials identified her by match, by match the voter list to their photo identity card, election photo identity card, and then they put a mark on his or her finger and allow her to cast her vote. Okay, then the voters they go and choose their candidate by click the buttons, or by by giving a stamp in the ballot papers and put it in the ballot box. So whatever the methods is over there, so they are doing like that. So this is the process of the voting, that how the people give vote. After completing of the voting system, then the counting will be going on. But before that, we have let me tell you about that. There's a two types of voting instrument. One is that the ballot papers, you can see that the papers are there where on which the names of the contesting candidates are there along with their party names and symbols are listed, and the ballot papers are used in the earlier, before 2004. Okay, so here the people give the stamp to the particular whom they choose, and they fold it and put it in the box, okay, ballot box. And nowadays, means after 2004, the election voting machine, that is EVM machine, are used for recording the votes, where that symbols are there, names are there, and the buttons are there. So whom the people wanted to choose, they in front of them the button, they have to click that button and they give their vote, and the vote is recorded after pushing that button. Okay. Now it's a matter of the counting of the vote. Now how the votes is counted? See, the machine shows, if you see the that the machine picture, you will able to get to know that here the name will be there along with the political party's name, and the symbols are given over there, and the voter had to just to press these buttons according to their preference. Means if the whoever they like, against the name, there is against each and every name there is a there is a button is given. So whom they the candidate whom they want to that see as a winner, so that they want to choose, so they have to just press the button against the name of the candidate she wanted to give his or her vote. And once the polling is over, once all the votes is recorded of that constituencies, then all the EVM machines are sealed. These machines are taken to the secure place. After few days later, all the EVM machine, when the result, the counting dates, or when the result date is declared in that particular day, all the EVM machine are again opened, and the voters are votes are secured by each candidate by counted. Means each that the votes which is recorded in this machine, they are counted by the presiding officers, those who have the duties for counting the vote. And after that, the candidate who secures the highest number of the votes from a constituency is declared as a elected person, and they win the battle. So this is by this way the voting will be, that the voting is counted. So I hope you get a clear idea about this one. Okay, so these are the few steps which you have to know to understand the election procedure, that how the total elections is conducted, and what are the important things during the time of the election procedures, and how our country conducted our elections and counted the votes and elected the people. So this all about the part 2, where you get understand clear idea about the that the election procedures through 4 important steps. I hope you like this video and understand this video. If you have any doubts or any problems regarding this, comment into the comment box, and make yourself clear with all the important steps, which is very much important during the time of the election. Thank you so much for watching the video.